Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP and the game is Out of War. And we've had the new update, so as you can see I've got some red conveyors in because the red equipment and the new parts that we have made things a lot neater and tidier. So thanks for everyone for putting up with the silence that has been the last couple of months. I've been a little busy testing this game and life stuff. But yeah, thanks for everyone who subscribed, liked videos, or is watching now. Great to have you with me. So this area here is where I'm digging at the moment, and jump into first person so it's a bit less jerky. And if I just run up the conveyor, you can see we're at the coal plant here. Got the standard sort of conveyors going into the plant. I'm already level 66 because I've been doing a bit of digging. We've got the plant here using some of the new equipment. Things like the crushers are a bit smaller, and the conveyors no longer have a ramp up in, so that the sorters rather no longer have a ramp up in, so the conveyors line up a little bit differently, which is kind of nice. I've got a couple of little hoppers set up here. The hoppers are now working properly, which is good because we had a bit of fun with them at one point. And this is where I've been digging. So for the 36 mil or whatever that I've got, and level 66, that white deposit that's in the hillside to start with at the coal plant, follow that all the way back, cut all the way out to the other lithium deposit in white over there, and you've got roughly how much you need to dig. I need to tidy this up. I want to get rid of this lump that's in front of me here. I want to get rid of that lump over there, start cutting downwards a bit more, which is why I built this machine up here this time, just because I can just extend these straight out that way. I can use merge blocks to join other bits together, and we can now build to world grid or to local grid, which I don't know if it's called local grid, by the way, I'm just calling it that. So there's a few more parts. Decoratively, we can paint steelwork. We can, here we see with the difference between the old concrete texture and the new concrete texture, and you also see that around in this hopper a bit as well, with these angles being the new and these verticals being the old. Dirt texturing on the new hoppers, which some people have got a problem with, but I think it looks alright. So yeah, staying off world events because everything seems to have gone haywire, including the sun from what I've seen recently. Great big hole pointing at the earth, so if anyone ever actually gets this on YouTube, it might be an absolute miracle. Everybody loves a good Carrington event. So yeah, what I'm cutting into here is coal, and I'm using the bulking mode to save mess really. I like a neat cut. And I'm just dumping it into this double hopper, which is wired, as I say, side by side straight up into these machines. And yeah, I've been having a bit of fun role playing, messing around with different techniques and things in the absence of any ability to film whilst doing the testing. But for the moment, I haven't seen an update. So sorry, that little grumbly grump then was me getting upset with the mouse that I'm using. It's because my wheel was hanging up against that. Currently, to explain the situation, something has gone wrong with the heating. I'm sat in about 5 layers of clothing. I've got gloves on my hands, so it's making gaming a little bit awkward, but we're having some fun. All is not sweetness and light in life in the UK. If you think it's a better life here, it is, but only if you've got plenty of cash, because otherwise you are stuffed. Judging by the looks of things currently going on in the world anyway. But lots of cash is what my game here has got. One thing this game does lack is something to spend cash on. And whilst we're on the subject, those of you who haven't played in a while, if you load up your old game, when you delete the old production equipment, you will not get a new piece of equipment in your inventory or a refund. So you will lose some cash. Effectively. I lost all, I think I had a four machine run going, and all of the associated conveyors all the way down to the ground floor and back up, I was not a happy bunny. At the same time, I had the cash to not really worry about it in game, but if you were near a new game state, it would be catastrophic if you deleted your sorter and found that you needed to rebuild everything and you didn't have the cash. Absolutely catastrophic. But since the game's about mining, and I'm going to be honest, most updates I restart a new game anyway, so yeah, that's why this is a little late in coming as well, because I started a new game and I started enjoying myself, and yeah, the hole says it all. I started digging, and I was rather enjoying myself, keeping it smooth, keeping it neat, not being all rushy, not using the conveyor floor method, and I have nothing against the conveyor floor method, it does work very well. I think you can now connect hoppers together end on end like conveyors and they work. It's something I need to test, which I will get round to doing when I build a slightly larger processing machine for getting rid of the top of the hill that is over there. Now I've gone a bit deep on this one. This was a 6-block drop and I think I should have gone only 4, because it makes the machine work a little easier. But at least with bulking turned on it. If I was spilling balls everywhere and raising the front end of the vehicle up, as it were, each time I dig, that would be a different matter. But I do like the new bulking mode. I think it's brilliant in the fact that it does reduce machine loading a lot, especially when you start using the large machines. Like this is the biggest loader in the game currently, and with the ball mode on, when you cut, it could be a bit dodgy. And when you've got a big dumper loaded with all the balls next to it, you start bad things start happening. When you combine it with machines that generate the voxel balls of dirt, and a couple of dumpers being loaded up with valuables that are set on the dirt ball mode as well, there's just too many items. The game's engine just starts to stutter effectively as it starts to overload, and that's that. So yeah. Excuse me being all croaky and coffee. We got ravaged by the lovely COVID in my village a little while back, and this time I didn't manage to avoid it. My father, bless him, brought it home, but never mind. I honestly pretty much didn't notice it. My father also had brought down a container of chemicals for use in the garden that it turns out I'm incredibly allergic to. So due to the symptoms of that, I didn't really notice I was ill. He noticed he was ill. My mother has definitely noticed she was ill. But yeah, I can say that an intolerance to salicylate chemicals is actually worse than COVID. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I also can't have vaccines. The first COVID vaccine nearly killed me, so yeah, I'm probably taking a bit of a risk by catching COVID, being unvaccinated and all that, but never mind. It's better than what is. It's not even the vaccine I'm allergic to, it's an ingredient they put in it. So yeah, something to do with the manufacturing process. Probably an antifungal. I'm not entirely sure, since no doctors who are attached to the NHS appear to want to talk about it. I think it's a big elephant in the room what I've got, which is kind of funny. If anyone knows a good solicitor for suing the NHS in the UK, could they please let me know in the comments? Thanks. Because I'm currently on the shop for one of those. Seems like there's celebrities suing the government for crazy stuff, and there's all these people suing them for stubbed toes, and I've got some serious issues and no one wants to know, and it's driving me nuts. It really is. So yeah, I seem to remember some kind of song from like the 80s might have been the 70s. Just spilled a bit there. But the chorus went something along the lines of "Send lawyers, guns, and money." I was waiting for an 0800 number because it's a service that I could use. Aha! There's a level up, and that is coal for you. You just keep digging it; it keeps coming out, and so yeah. It's been a few days since the update came out, so that gives you a kind of idea on the gameplay of the game. I've got a few thousand hours in the public version, and probably a few more in the testing. I think probably if I divide them up, might be 50-50, might be about 800 or something. But I would have to look. I don't monitor my game time. It scares the heck out of me. When the hours get into the thousands, I get scared, very scared. It's like, what have I been doing all this time? There's nothing to show for it. But never mind. I'm sure I'll get some kind of constructiveness back in my life at some point. So yeah, this is pretty much the synthesis of the game, is just dig. There are various ways of digging. You can use excavators, which I have used one. I actually excavated this hopper into the wall a bit, because I did have it previously 4 blocks nearer the conveyors, and it was kind of hard to use. You really need a bit of space for using these bigger machines. Keeping it neat on how you dig your floor out with these machines is also quite important. They don't like an uneven floor. Spilling like that, bad move. But as you can see here, the floor's kind of uneven in front of the machine, and it could do with a skim out. I'm full. That is the only problem with bulking mode, is you can end up filling your bucket and then just deleting stuff, so best to keep an eye on that yellow bar in the corner on the right hand side there. One with the pickaxe next to it. That is the bucket bar. As you can see, as I drive forward, it just rises up, and it'll suddenly kick as I get to that wall. So back that up a little and just take a bit more of a scrape from there. There we go. And if you go in and lift, you will fill your bucket really quickly and easily, and you can move quite a lot of stuff. But you, in the situation I've got myself into here, end up deleting quite a lot of stuff. But if the bank that you're digging into is about the height of your bucket, or well, less than double the height of the bucket, it can work very well. Now, something I could do here is go in above with a bulldozer and just cut the top lip off and push it down and then scrape it up, which is what you'd find machines doing in real life locations. Or there'd be another loader up the top sort of pushing material down off the top, or even dumpers dropping off. There's a few different ways different mining setups do it. Quite often depends upon the mechanisation level. Mining's an interesting subject. Probably been in the news quite a lot recently, actually, because there was a load of miners trapped. I believe they got them out. I hope they did anyway, because that's a pretty horrendous one. Kind of a James Dean death. I think it was James Dean who sung a song about a bloke named Big John who was a miner or something. Anyway, music not being my speciality, by the way. The music I like is kind of not loved by anyone. At the same time, the bands that play it seem to still be around, so perhaps they do have a dedicated following. I don't know how you'd really rate bands. Still around 20 years later, probably a good band. Still around 30 years later, probably a really good band. since people like the Rolling Stones have been around for like 50 years, seem to get a lot of kudos. But yeah, so I just keep digging away like this. Stuff goes up to the sorters. The wash plants are probably pretty slack at the moment. They're probably not doing much, going to be honest. Not much pay dirt coming through here, so not much for a wash plant to do. Because the something I should probably do is go over the order of machinery, because it's something that a lot of people seem to ask about. Not on my channel, by the way. That's in sort of conversations about the game in Discords and things, including the official Discord, which I'm a member of. A lot of information there. Very handy community to be a part of if you're interested in the game. I recommend it. So yeah, up here we've got these machines. These are the sorting drums at the front that the material comes in at. Got wash plant here, as I thought, inactive. And then a sorting drum underneath that separates dirt off to the side, and the valuables go up into that hopper at the top here, up into the crusher, into the fractioner. Fractioner's pretty much idle, so is the crusher. These are for stonework. It just happens to be the path that the coal, which is what's coming out here, takes. And it's bouncing around like crazy. Is that actually bouncing around and spilling? Maybe not. So yeah, this is all gathered up by a hopper down in the bottom here, and goes up through those conveyors. You can see it dropping over there. And every time it drops in, I get a bit more XP, a bit more money. So if I go to the map now, you can see now see very clearly where machinery runs on the map. The SOS bell is a rescue me location, which is set down in the bottom left corner. Click rescue me and it will put you back there. Machines that you've bought are listed down in the garage here and can be deployed to the world by clicking spawn. They deploy where you're looking, aiming north on the map, upwards. Over here there are buttons for sending vehicles back to the garage and driving, and to sell a vehicle you'd obviously click sell in the garage. You can't sell a vehicle that's on the map. So, click drive, back in the thing. Remembering to take the handbrake off is probably the key thing when starting playing this game, if you're a new player thinking about it. I recommend having, there are mining games I have in my collection which I played less than this. So, and they're big names. So I'd say recommending this one for your collection, for those who have got an interest in mining games, is definitely on these days. Just for some variety's sake, I'm going to start cutting this slope out. See if I can get the new wash plants going up there. I don't care if it's not full bucket full. Okay, this can work. Got nearly enough room to work this. Okay. That's what all of this digging has been, is to establish some kind of work area, so that I can actually start getting properly into the dig, as it were. And you'll see that the cash going in and the XP bar will actually drop off in a sec, because it'll stop processing the coal, and pay dirt just doesn't have the yield per bucket that coal yields at. So every so often I'll turn around and just hit some more coal up, because the wash plants, they sort of slow down material going through, and they also hold a backlog of material. I've got my machine stuck. What this effectively means is that you get a backup in one side of the machine or the other. By varying what you're putting into it, you get the maximum efficiency, because both lines are running at once. Interesting thing with the bulking mode, sometimes you'll cut a piece and you won't get out when you tip what you think you were going to, if that makes sense. Yeah, don't use the hopper from the wrong angle, JP. It's not very effective, not very efficient, that one, using the slopes like that. But luckily it was mainly this dirty top, so it doesn't matter too much. That's what I'm mainly doing here, is just trying to extract the dirt from that upper way. Must stop turning around like that. I suppose what I could do to get around all of this is bring in the biggest dumper in the game for you guys to look at and do it with the dumper. Which, yeah, that can work out. Okay. Sorry about the crazy screen there. That was a bit weird. Alright, that will do. Spawn the 680, which, as you can see, is quite a beefcake. It's a bit of a unit. We have the term henge in the UK. This is henge. So I'm going to park it sort of somewhere lumpy, because spillages happen. About there, I reckon. And by pressing tab you can just go between vehicles, which is kind of handy. So when using two vehicles like this, you can just tab between them when you need to do something with them. So a full bucketful with this loader, if I get a full bucketful, there we go, is, I believe, 20% of this dumper. So it's going to be 5 bucketfuls to the dumper load. Yeah, that'd be about right. Cool. Been a couple of days since I've used that, just reminding myself that. And you saw there was like a snap as I put the bucket in, and that's what you want to avoid when you've got a nearly full bucket full with the loader, because that snap will delete stuff, and anything that's sort of over the top of the bucket I don't think it collects. I'm not sure about that, I may be wrong. It may collect stuff from a long way above the bucket, but I don't think so somehow from the way it's been performing with me. Go in there, just like that. You can see there's different textures apparent in the pay dirt and the dirt, and I'm not sure what they mean, but they definitely have meaning, and they've definitely improved in the last update. There's differences, I think. I think the whole game's had a little bit of a polish put on it, which is good. Nice to see. I like it. It is good. So yeah, we'll just get a bit more out of this corner. You can, with the bulking mode on, just gently really massage terrain into different shapes. You see that overhang form just in that bucket full there. That's what you want to avoid. That's what I mean by the sort of overdose, overcutting the waste material in the bulking mode. Just then, the back end of this vehicle does appear to have some kind of collision issue. The collision box for it is way too big, or something going on. But these are fine-tuning iron-outs, and will be addressed, I have no doubt, because the developer's pretty hot. He's doing all right. Definitely doing pretty well with this. The multiplayer question addressed. Yes, a lot of people talk about and ask about multiplayer, and currently I think the game's engine or an asset for Steam or something doesn't allow it, from what I've read. It was a problem with the original reiteration of this game, because there was an older version that was designed to be multiplayer. Unfortunately that never happened, so it got rewritten into this single player version we have today, which I think is really cool. Single player games being something that, well, yeah, could do with a revival. But yeah, the tip mechanics are working pretty well now, I think, in my opinion. Not that my opinion's really good. I've played like 3 or 4 voxel mining games like this, but I have played a lot of other voxel games. I don't. Minecraft is sort of a voxel game, but I don't think it really qualifies in the same way as this because the terrain's not that modifiable. It's arranged in boxes, and it's been a long time since I played that game. But other terrain modifiable games, they work in similar ways, I think. And this one's voxel working is one of the more polished that I've seen. Of course, a lot of the other things I'm thinking of are arranged in sort of the grid mechanic on the voxels, whereas this appears to be a much more complicated arrangement that works a lot better. Tip another bucket full in that way, just to show how much I can miss. And what I could do is sit up at the top there with an excavator and just dig into a hopper mounted to the side of the cliff, or into a dumper that's down below. There's a few different ways of doing this. How you mine is how you mine, really. There's neat and tidy, there's neat and untidy, there's a few different ways of doing business. Some of this corner off. Must remember to get some lunch at some point. It is lunchtime here, and for the first time in a while it's sunny. I've taken advantage of this, done some washing, go outside. It's all been good. Very motivating. Guess that's probably why I'm videoing. So yeah, I mean, the cutting limits on the blade in bulking mode and generally are pretty fine. It's just below level or just above level. There is a very fine line on it, which can be something that can take a little bit of getting used to. Could have been quicker to drop that into the dumper, maybe not, but keeps the machines rolling. But where this will speed things up using the dumper is in that corner where I sort of want to dig in and move into the face, so it's just for a bit of role-play and demonstration, really. So that I sometimes do actually play with this game instead of just industrially mine. There's the autosave function kicking in. I've got mine set for every half hour. The game does freeze whilst it's doing it, but it's bearable. Doesn't really cause any problems, other than you have to stop playing for a sec. That dumper is full. What I'll do is take another shovelful from here. interesting amount of coal came out of that. So yeah, at this distance from the hopper it's 50-50 which is quicker, loading the dumper and dumping, or just using the loader like this, but it's probably more fuel efficient using the dumper. But for long hauling, once this mine starts to get across there a bit, the dumper becomes an essential. Or you extend your conveyors and hoppers, which is what I tend to do. And that way you just dig dump, dig dump, dig dump, and through it goes. So that's a fairly significant amount just gone into those hoppers of mixed everything. So hopefully, old habits there, hitting P to park the vehicle instead of space. Which is now the button for the shop, which all the controls got reworked, which has probably confused an awful lot of people, but bear with it because the reason for everything resetting is very good. In effect, it's going to make everything work a lot better. So, right, so here you can see all the outputs, and you can see coal coming out the top quite rapidly, and then occasionally underneath there's a pulse of gold, and the result of this should be a fairly significant output at this end. Yeah, reasonable. So this area is getting pretty rich that I'm digging into by the looks of that. It's coming out pretty well. These are the storage boxes, and this is the dirt output from a second sorting drum on the end of the wash plant. And if you press E on these, you can see how much dirt is being siphoned off. There's 84k in there at the moment. And over here there is 102. So you can see the uneven loading that I was getting on my hoppers from dumping in. One side will always load more than the other. You can get around that with the new merge blocks, which I haven't actually used in this machine, but I'm getting around to it. I keep thinking about how I'm going to use them. They're an experiment that needs doing. But yeah, all in all, I'm very impressed with the development on the game. One thing that I think this map needs is another processing plant for gold and metals rather than the coal over there somewhere, like on that hill, or I don't know. Just needs somewhere to go. We need somewhere to take stuff. Some kind of screening plant to separate everything out individually would be cool, so that we could run stuff to individual locations as missions. Like there's a lot of development in gameplay to be done on the game, but all in all, things are working quite well. The construction mode is good. Just getting to the point of finding the rock. Now that was one that people wanted to know about. Where is the bedrock? Well, you will see all the different textures as I come across here. This one here that I'm on at the moment, which isn't very clear in this light, but you can see this is pay dirt and there's this pinky texture here. There you go, that's a bit more visible. You can see it in the cliff wall there as well. All of this that my character is running on is the perimeter of the stonework. That's a bit of coal or platinum or something. But this is all where the bedrock starts. So you've got that much pay dirt generally above the bedrock at the top of hills. So it's a couple of layers worth with the big loader. But it does mean that if that's stonework over there, then over here it won't be long before I hit stonework, which is kind of cool. That was a handy way of jumping down. Glad there's no fall damage. So yeah. We do have all kinds of day-night settings now as well, and whether there's a drone for doing camera work, which I need to experiment with in game. I'm not the best at video making, I'll be honest. Like editing is one of those things I've never really got round to. That's why I do everything in one take, which can be a bit crazy, but most of the time it works out. But yeah, I hope everybody's found something to look at least in this video at the moment. It's mainly been a loader special, hasn't it? Loaders and dumpers. Not many key tags and hits for this one. One thing that has changed is when using the sort of shortcut bar menu, they're keys 1 to 6, and by default now T and R change it left and right to your tools, and you've got a lamp, a manual digging tool that allows you to manually edit the terrain, which can be handy for smoothing ground for getting machines through. And then there's the button for detonating explosives, so detonators are no longer needed. And what's the one on the end? Of course, demolition, to demolish everything. That's the one. And so yeah, if you've got used to the other keys, it's just a matter of rebinding the keys. Don't gnash yourself up over it. Hopefully the controls and everything, now they've been sorted out and how they work, will work very nicely. And the developer will be able to get on with a bit more development, and the game will grow a bit more, which would be good. Wouldn't mind seeing some big bucket wheeled excavators. I like those things. Likewise, drag lines, they're missing. Some bigger graders, some bigger compactors, and some bigger dozers wouldn't go amiss. Seen people talking about road construction gear. Firstly, I'd like the ability to separate off pure gravel, which you can as long as you don't dig coal at the same time. But by all the experiments I've tried, I haven't been able to separate coal and gravel using the machinery. I need to have another go now, see whether it's actually in there, some combo that filters it out. Shall have a go. There's a few little things that I'm still gnashing away at in this game. I think that's why I keep coming back to it. So I play a lot of other games, to be honest, most of the time. But this one, just occasionally, I get the urge, just want to dig. That was me just being pedantic about filling the bucket, by the way. So yeah, due to the fact the overlay for my filming thing's actually over my money, I don't know how much money I'm earning, but I can see that XP bar's gone up halfway since the level up in the filming, so must be doing okay. That wasn't a bad bucket full considering. I didn't expect that much coal out of it. Take that. That's what's in the way and annoying. So take it out. And this is what I mean by it gets slow quite quickly to come back to the hopper with the loader all the time. That kind of distance that you're seeing, probably the most you want to be doing. After that, it's either move the hopper or go in with the dumper. The reason I want to start using the splitter and merge blocks is for the hoppers, for the dumper truck. They just need to be a bit bigger. At the same time, I don't want 4 lines of machines, I want to stick to 2. Maybe even condense it down to 1, but that seems to get overloaded quite easily. So, when I say overloaded, whilst you're rebuilding hoppers and stuff, the machine running is okay. But if you've left the game alone for 2 hours and the machine is still running, you know you overloaded. A bit like the Romans. As I said to a friend of mine the other day, some Roman structures are still upright and working today. Their society disappeared a few thousand years ago. If your structures outlive your society by a few thousand years, one thing's for sure, you over-engineered that. It's true. I can't remember who said it. It was some scientist guy. Knowing me, it was probably a NASA scientist guy. Pretty sure he's American. No, it's not going to come at the moment. Keep on wanting to say the guy from Star Trek, and I know it's not him. Oh, I do like quizzing myself. Always fun. My memory's sometimes really good at this kind of thing, and sometimes it's like a 2-hour return. You'll ask me a question, and I'll be like, yeah, I know the answer to that, but I can't remember. Leave it with me for 2 hours, and all of a sudden I'll just look at you and go, oh yeah, it was that person. I do love the view from this platform. I like looking out over the landscape. It's one of the nicer things of the game. Sorry, got into my digging there for a second and completely forgot I was filming. Aye. But yeah, I do find this game very therapeutic, and you can see the kind of progress and depth that we're starting to make here. Bit of a ropey way of doing business, but got most of the bucket full. Take that back. And when you're cutting out the top of something at the highest, pretty much the highest reach the machine can reach like that, don't worry about being too neat at the top there. The only place to really worry is that final cut down at the ground level. You want to keep everything as level as possible. There is GPS in the game, but I kind of got used to working without it. Just sort of do it by eye, by looking at the level of the machine and the level of the bucket and how it's cutting really. And you sort of get to know how far in you can go and then sweep upwards like that to get a full bucket full. And in pay dirt, it really isn't the biggest deal whether it deletes some or not, but in the rich stuff like the coal and the lithium, it's a bit more important. Ah, yeah, that was something I was going to touch on in this video that I've not ticked off the list. And that is the new sort of shop layout and stuff. If I just park this vehicle up. Okay, first off, different buttons and stuff, everything's laid out all like this and stuff. But selling. There is a button here for sell and a button here for bank. This is how you handle your loans and stuff in here now. If I just go up to the top here, because that'll give me something to sell. So yeah, to sell stuff out of your inventory is a little bit of a simple one, but these things, you have to open up the container, dump it in your inventory, and likewise, like that. Then go to the shop, go into the sell window and transfer from your inventory anything you want to sell. And then you just click sell items, click done. And in this sell window shows you all of the sort of stats from selling different things. As you can say, ore minerals 48 mil, not bad. Over 1 million of dirt sold. And that machine has caught up with me already, just like that. So as you can see, the new equipment really does run quite quickly. It's very handy. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, guys, and picking up with me chatting away like that. All in all, I'm quite satisfied with this latest update. It's very nice, very nice. So yeah, if you've liked the content of this video, feel free to leave a like, or if you leave a dislike, tell me why so I can improve everything. That would be great. It'd be really good if you could subscribe, because subscribers, more of those I get, closer I get to getting a paid job again as a YouTuber, which would be kind of cool. Subjects to talk about, feel free to suggest them and I will read up about them and give you my opinion if you value it. Or if you just want to hear someone run down some of the facts according to Fact Check Google. And that's about as far as I fact check, is by finding multiple sources, because most of the time, I'm going to be honest, there's an awful lot of stuff out there that is true, but it's contradictory. It's true in both ways. The world is becoming a quantum place, I think is the word. Because in quantum mechanics, it seems like pretty much anything goes from what I understand of the situation. And it seems like that's what the world is turning into. And so the next sort of thing I'll be doing is sectioning out where I just took that little scoop out of there and digging along there, getting rid of the green stuff and all of the rubbishy dirt that's on the top. Since I just sold all my dirt, I'll find out how much is in there. And yeah, hopefully expand this cut a bit more. So all of that cliff that you see along there, I intend to cut this out back to there, and then I'm going to take the whole thing into the hill a bit more maybe. See how it goes, because underneath me, though you can't really tell, there is actually quite a lot more valuable stuff hidden away all around that edge. It is more visible on the map, and you can see, if I zoom in a little, there is just a deposit there, there is a deposit there, there's one over there, there's one there, there's one back here, and I've in my last series of videos I dug a tunnel that ran all the way into this hill, and instead this time I'm coming down from the top and going in, and as you can see here by the map, this is that skinny seam near the coal plant, and then over here there's coal in here, there's coal here and here, this one's lithium over here, And this is what the stone texture looks like just here on the map. So that's what you're looking for on the map to see whether it's stone. I believe this texture is mineral bearing, but I might be wrong, it might be the dead, but it looks kind of goldy. So I think this is the gold. I think the whiter stuff is copper and diamonds. And once you get down into the stonework, you can see how that's patterned as well. And I think there might be indicators there. I'm not really sure, but see, I'm torn about this area, this corner. I think it's going to have to go. But yeah, all the way down this hill, there's also rich stuff. I think it's the best way to describe it. There's a large seam there, and as you zoom out on the map, you can see it becomes clearer where the actual large deposits are. There's one over there. There's a fair amount of stuff around. The open side with this big seam here of coal at the start of the game that's exposed is actually not so prolific for stuff. I don't know whether you actually have to walk the area to reveal it, but I haven't walked over here, and there's stuff over there. Don't know whether these darker areas on the map, whether that's incline or whether that's, because this is pretty steep and it's not darkened like that. So it might be where the pay dirt's thicker. I don't know. There's a few things I don't know about this game. I think that's why I like it. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining me. Been pretty cool to do a video for the first time in a while. And look after yourselves. Good luck in your mines. Feel free to like, dislike, or subscribe. And yeah, if you haven't already, I'd suggest buying this one. I really would. It's very nice. The models are becoming very detailed. It's good. Yeah. So yeah, thanks to all my viewers and subscribers who have stuck with me, and I'll see you next time. Look after yourselves, guys. Bye for now.